have to try whatever they tell you to do, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's just flooding their minds with too much information or contradictory information, I think is creating, adults that, they don't know how to take criticism. And the game will break you down enough. The game has it already that you don't need that when you go home. At home, it should be, you get a snack and you get a pat on the back, whether you go 0 for 3 or 3 for 3 with 3 homers. Great game, and let's look forward to the next one and try not to have that.
And to kind of go with that, don't listen to the coach. There's also the just telling your kid, you're better than everybody else, you're better than everybody else. I mean, there's one thing in support to say, my parents were always, you could do whatever you set your mind to. And I believe that to this day. But there's a difference between saying you're better than everybody, everybody's garbage, like you're not. There's a way of training a kid that like you're above everybody.
Right.
And my parents never did that. It was whether I played Little League or I played basketball or I was going to commentate or something like that. It wasn't about being better than anybody else. It was about being the best you.
Right.
And I think that when you tell a kid, at 5 years old, at 8 years old, at 10 years old, you're better than all the kids. Oh, you're so much better. You're better than this. You're better than that. They're nothing to you. You can, it can have that other approach that goes well out of the sport of baseball or sports in general, where this person thinks they're better than everybody else, and they attack life that way.
Right.
And I'll never forget reading a quote I think it was in high school, the planner that I had in high school, and the quote said, "Never compare yourselves to other people, because you'll either be depressed in knowing that you're not as good as some, or cocky because you know you're better than others."
Right.
So to literally just fight yourself every day, to be the better version of you today than yesterday.
Right. I love that. And I think, specifically talking about baseball, it's really all sports, but because baseball is such a failure-driven sport, it's just, that's how the game is played. You succeed 3 out of 10 times and you're a Hall of Famer. That's kind of tough as a kid to wrap your head around. I might show up to the ballpark and fail more than I succeed, and it's a great day. That's tough. But I think, like we were talking in today's world, the ability to have that support at home. The unique part about baseball, and again, I'm talking from the day you step foot on a T-ball field all the way to the best team in the major leagues right now.
Yeah.
Every single day, I might be more talented than Joey, but on that day, he could have a better game. He could be the best player in the field. Every day, when you write a lineup as a coach or when you go out as a player, you might know in your head, and trust me, I've been to a ton of different baseball environments where I was not the best player on the field. There's no question. But did I have the best day? Was I the best player on the field that day?
Yeah.
Sure. There's times where there's clearly I was the best player on the team. But did one of my buddies who on paper over a long stretch of time, would someone pick me to be the best player on the team? Sure. But were there times where other people had the best day? There's no question. So I think as a parent, and even as a coach, that's the message we have to push. Every single time you strap up, that it's a new experience for you. And as long as you put in the work, and you're supportive, and you have a pretty good foundation at home, and you're pretty introspective about what this is about. What are you playing the game for?
Yeah.
The word scholarship, the word profession, it never came up until it was time. Now,
yeah.
What I've noticed over the last, I would say, 20 years, since I kind of got involved and really was old enough to understand how things work, I just feel like the game is in my opinion, it's the best game in the world, and it can be so pure, but it's kind of getting drowned out by other factors and people chasing scholarships, people chasing that pro contract at young ages.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about college. I thought about it, but it wasn't even really in the forefront of my mind until I was a junior in high school, and it was like, okay, well, we got to start thinking about this because I got to start applying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you got people posting on Twitter and social media, a 12-year-old hitting a home run, and it's like, oh, he's a 2035 grad. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You're going to do that to your kid, and
they do that with football. 7-year-old, kids getting recruited by USC.
It's And that's the thing. It's really not that are a little broken, and the big powerhouse top, Power 5 schools and top 25 schools I know in like college baseball. Once your Vanderbilts and Arizonas and Arizona States and Stanfords, once they start recruiting 8th graders, what do you think the smaller guys are going to do? You have to keep up. So once one or a few schools start to do it, now, hey, we got to keep up with these guys, or we're not going to be in existence, because we're not going to be able to. If you don't recruit at that level, you're in trouble. So I think now the age keeps getting pushed back, and now it's starting to get ridiculous, because until you're 15, 16 years old, in my opinion, you should be playing the game to have fun, and it's something you want to do. Stay out of trouble, stay athletic, and go out and figure out if this is what you want to do. Play multiple sports, whatever. So I could go on forever about this stuff, because I was in college, and I
when we played, it was fun.
Right.
When we played, it was for fun. Like, my dad was like, try it. I did Little League, I did basketball. It was like, if I wanted to play soccer, then they would have let me play. Like, whatever I wanted to try, they wanted me to go try.
Right.
And that was the thing. And not to cut you off, there was something that my dad said that I never forgot, and I take it to this day. And I don't know if I would be the business owner that I am, or a business owner, if not for stuff like this. 7 years old, I wasn't playing on my. It was at Pastimes in Syracuse, New York. The coach wasn't putting me out there, and I was 7. It was when I started organized. And one Saturday morning, I came to my dad. My dad was in the bathroom. I walked into the bathroom from my bedroom. So my parents had their bedroom, the bathroom, and then my bedroom could look into it. Mm-hmm. And I walked into the bathroom and I said, Dad, I can't even say this word anymore because I don't believe it, and it literally makes me want to throw up. But I said, Dad, I quit.
Right.
I'm done. And he goes, and he ignored me.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Dad, did you hear me? Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not playing anymore. I quit. I'm not going today. And he had the newspaper, and he folded the newspaper down, and he said, no, you're not. I don't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, what do you mean? I don't want to play. Like, the coach not letting me play. I don't like this. I don't like the coach. Like, he's not listening to me. I'm not playing.
Right.
He said to me, you can do a lot of things in your life, but I will not let you quit. And I'll never forget that he said this. If I let you quit today, if I let you quit right now, like at this point in your life, you will quit forever.
Mm-hmm.
He told me that. He said, you are not allowed to quit this basketball team, because if I let you quit today, you'll quit for the rest of your life, is what he said.
Right. How great is that? That you probably didn't know it at the time, but you were getting life advice through sports. And I think that's a message that same exact situation that you had. Okay, son, whatever you want to do, you can quit, and we'll go just do something else. What life lesson is that?
Right.
Where are you in? Because put it this way, 0.00001% of youth sports make $1 million plus, and their career is an athlete. It's an absorbently low number of people that start to play. My dream is playing the big leagues. Didn't happen. I got pretty close. Didn't happen. But you know how many kids dream about playing in Yankee Stadium? Millions. But there's only 25 guys on a roster at a given time. There's 750 big leaguers right now. That's it. Everyone else in the minor leagues or below. So the thought of either as a parent or a coach or even once kids can start making decisions on their own, to be a quitter, if you will, or that might be a little harsh, but just to give up on a dream or give up on a season. Yeah. You're creating adult attitudes that now when they're 30 years old and their boss in whatever job, it's a trickle down effect, and it's instilled in you so young. So that platform of, no, you're going to get out there and you're going to just finish the season, see what happens. There was never a time where my parents forced me to do it, but there was also times where it's like, hey, you do have to show up today. Like that, you have the ability as a parent. Hey, I'm driving you. I'm paying for this, whatever. You're going to go to the game because I'm telling you to. Because and I think that's getting lost too. There's a lot of immature kids that are able to make decisions like that these days, and maybe it affects their career. It certainly affects their attitude in life going forward, and I think it could be damaging. I don't want to sound too cynical about it, because I still think that whether you play baseball and you decide to stop at any point, or any sport for that matter, there's still a value in it. Being in a team, being in something bigger than yourself, I think there's something so valuable to that, because that's what life is. Yeah. you're a business owner. You have your own business. My dad had his own business. But at the end of the day, you have to interact and have relationships with other people. You have to know how to deal with that. You have to know how to fail, get knocked down, and be able to come back up on your own as an adult.
Yeah.
But to have someone there to pick you up for you when you're too immature to make those decisions, I think that's a valuable piece that, you know, maybe some kids don't have. But for the most part, that's a pretty powerful thing to have an experience like that in your life that now 30 something years old you're still talking about today. So that's pretty cool.
Well, and that's the thing is, you know, being 7 and now being 35, you look back on almost 3 decades of I never quit.
Right.
And I played for coaches I liked. I played for coaches that I didn't. After that, I got recruited D3, and I was proud of that because to me, I didn't put in the work ethic I hated to run.
Right.
I can shoot threes. I can shoot threes all day.
Yeah.
You put me in half court, I'm going to make 1 out of 5 half court shots I take. Like, God gave me the talent to shoot, and then I honed that skill and trained that skill to shoot anywhere.
Right.
So I could shoot anywhere. But in the fearlessness of going inside, being 5'8", I've grown in that. But I hated to run. And now, like doing cardio and stuff, I'm always like, what would I have been like if I trained like this back then? But the one thing that I know is I never quit. And even when my coaches did things that I didn't agree with, I didn't quit. I showed up and I practiced hard. And when I did everything I was supposed to do and I still didn't get the playing time I wanted, I was like, you know what? It's frustrating, but I have to go to the line. I have to do what I can control.
Right.
You know, I mean, I remember one practice, I shot 10 threes in front of my coach, and I was on the right, like the right elbow, right corner, whatever. And I took 10 of them, and I made 9 of them. And I remember looking at my coach, and he was just BSing with the assistant coach. And I looked at him like, did you see any of that? Like, can I get 2 minutes next game? But it's one of those things where, you know, there was also other times where you said being the best player on that day. I never thought I'd win MVP. My buddy always got it for everything, and he was taller than me and this and whatever. And, you know, he knew how to dribble a little bit better. There were things that he did well. And I remember it was the last year we could do a camp, and we were 14, and it was a summer camp. And we had to play indoor-outdoor basketball. And you have to play the tournament on indoor and outdoor courts, and it's totally different. The game is way different, and the iron is very unkind outside.
Oh, yeah.
So we play in this tournament. My team wins the championship. We win the 4 or 5 games we had to go run through to do it, and I get MVP of the playoffs. And I remember that day sitting there, and they butchered my last name, and they wrote it wrong too. And I remember that somewhere in my house there's like Tortora spelled like TGXY, the letter Q. You know, like it's such a weird thing, but like seeing, like having that moment, it was like, even though I was never the guy, like I honed it and I was the guy in that moment, and that's what it is. Like you can catch fire at any time, but how amazing those moments are that was 7 years old to 14 years old. Dad doesn't let me quit. At 14, I'm an MVP.
Right.
Like, and I didn't go to the NBA, and I wanted to.
Right.
And I didn't play at Syracuse, and I wanted to. But there's moments that you take with you along the way that teach you things. And one of the things that was really cool is Dale Shackelford is a good friend of mine, and he played at SU. And I was at a camp, and I met him at SU basketball camp, and I'm on Jim Boeheim court. I'm on, like, the court.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there during the camp, and there was nobody playing on it at the time. And I was like, you know what? I have to get on the court, and I have to shoot, because I have to say that I actually played on this court. Yeah. So the ball goes out of bounds. Dale gets it, and he looks at me, and he passes it to me, and it bounced once, and I catch it, and I said, I don't care what you do, you got to make this shot. And I turned, and I was right on the right side of the free throw line, and I shot it up, and I fade away, and the shot drops in, and I looked at Dale, and I said, add a stat. Like I was like, you have to add a statistic to your stat. Like whatever your assists are, you got to add one more to your book. And he never forgot that, and I never forgot that. So even though I'm a kid that never got to play on Syracuse's court, didn't play D1 anything, didn't go to the NBA, it's moments like being the MVP. It's moments when my dad said you're not quitting, and it's moments when Dale passed me that ball. And, you know, I trusted my shot, but I just looked up to God, and I was like, you have no, like he knows, but nobody has any idea how much that meant to me, that I didn't get to play on that court, and then somebody who did passed me that ball, and I got to make a shot on that court, and then I was like, all right, I'm not shooting anymore.
Right.
I'm off.
Right.
But it's there's something to the moments, and you've had incredible moments. You know, I have these pieces that I love and I'll cherish forever, but there should be nothing taken away from what you did. And I want to tell that story because, like you said, you wanted to play in the majors, but there's so much of a fight, and people don't know. You make no money. You're practicing just as much. You're playing all these games. You're practicing like crazy. You're pushing your body. You're doing all these things, and you're trying and you're trying and you're trying. And we don't hear the stories of the Steve Marinos, and we should, because so many people try to play this game that 750 people get to play.
Right.
And if I can have pride in an assist from Dale Shackelford in a game that doesn't count, you should have pride in what you got to do.
Right. And I think that is, as far as youth sports go, I think that should be the message. Those little things you could hold on to. And really, at the end of the day, it's hope. I might not be the best player, but I can be the best player on a given day. And maybe you're the best player. I'll tell a quick story about how I got recruited to go to Stony Brook.
Yeah.
It was later, some other buddies that were super talented that I had to play, got the opportunity to play with, were signing at different getting recruited and committing to, I should say. And there was a tournament down in Baseball Heaven, and I just happened to have like one of the best days of my life in front of their coaches, and they called me up, and it was against the Canadian national team, and one of my best friends ever, Chad Marshall, was the shortstop on the Canadian team, and I was playing third I think I was playing third base at the time for the team I was on, and I hit a couple doubles, and I really had a great day. But I had a lot of great days. But if they're not in front of the right people, I'm talking strictly now. I'm not talking youth or like I said, the game should be about, at the youngest levels, developing a sense of teamwork, a sense of having fun, and being involved in something bigger than yourself. Once you get towards the end, you're like, hey, looking at yourself, either as a parent looking at your kid, or as that kid looking at yourself and your situation in the mirror. If there is an opportunity to go and do something special and be a college athlete, that's when, and only when, you should start to do that. And that's what it was for me and my family. Okay, hey, Steve's pretty good here. We might have an opportunity to play in college. And of course, it was a dream. You kind of have to play in college to go to the big leagues. Or I was undrafted my whole life. I was never drafted, so I certainly wasn't good enough to get drafted out of high school. But those are, the freaks of the world. Are the ones getting drafted out of high school. They play a few years in the minor leagues, and at 20, 21, they're in the big leagues. That doesn't happen to everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
But the point in that story I had a really good day at the right time, and that was going to Stony Brook University and playing 4 years there and developing the relationships that I still have today with the coaches and a ton of my closest friends. That doesn't happen if I go to the park that day and I punch out 3 times. Who knows where I'm at? I don't meet my wife. The trickle down effect over one good day that I had, and the right people see me at the right time. They called up my house. My dad spoke to him. I spoke to him, and we ended up making a decision to go there. And again, what does my life look like, or what does my career, if we're just talking sports, look like if I didn't have that good day? And I don't know. I don't know who's there. You go to these sporting events now, and for anyone listening that is familiar with college recruiting, it is an experience that it's taking on this life where I've been on both sides. I've been the player, and I've been nobody just watching, and then I've been the guy with the notepad, like with the roster recruiting. And picture a regular, your local high school baseball field with just a sea of different color shirts and 100 radar guns and stopwatches and pens. It's an unbelievable, daunting experience for a kid, really. At 15, you're a kid. 16, to go and do this, and your heart is racing, and they're throwing you through all these tests, and you have a number on your back. You're not a name to these people. You're literally a number. You're number 601, because all the shortstops are 6. All the third basemen are 5, because on the scorecard, that's what it is. The outfielders are 7. And you're going in, and I'm going to a tryout or a tournament like this, and there's a showcase on day 1, then you play like 5 games over the week. It could be a very overwhelming experience.
Yeah.
But like I said, I think the message, for anybody listening that is in this situation, again, whether you're a parent and you want the best for your kid, or you're an athlete, boy or girl at any level, and you want to play in college, you have to have that calming sense of just every day is a new opportunity. You never ever know who's watching. Slamming your helmet or talking back to a coach or acting out or any kind of bad body language could you don't know if how badly that could affect you. Even if it's just one time, you might scare somebody off.
Yeah.
So it really is important to, and I think, again, say that did happen and someone does have maybe that's a life lesson that changes their life going forward. Okay, maybe you don't get into that school. There's so many different avenues, and every decision you make and every opportunity that comes to you in life, you don't know, like you said.
Yeah.
Only one person knows your path, and there's no one here on earth.
Yeah.
So it's funny to think about how you can, with one decision, you don't know. Okay, you made it. Like I said, I went to Stony Brook.
Yeah.
I where I'm at in my life, I'm extremely happy with. I'm blessed. I'm very fortunate with my situation. But like I said, that one day doesn't happen. I don't go to that school. Maybe I don't sign in the Frontier League. I don't play minor league baseball. Whatever. So to think about what my life would be like if that didn't happen, it really is, I think, an important message that you have to have the right mindset. You can't overlook or overthink something.
Yeah.
And you have to just go in it. And like I said, I show up to that day. It was a regular day. I've played a million baseball games in my life, and that, to me, that was just another day. I just happened to, it was right place, right time, and I ended up being a Division I athlete, and that's a dream come true. So I think it's just a matter of being in the right mindset and never thinking that the specific day or the specific game you're playing, something special could happen at any time.
Yeah.
That's really what it's all about.
And the thing is, what you said, somebody is always watching. If for nobody else, the big guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, somebody is always watching you throw your helmet, throw your bat, scream at a coach, whatever it may be. So, or even just taunting, gloating,
Sure.
if you hit a homer. Like, somebody is always watching. They're also watching you pick up a guy who falls down. They're watching you put your hand on the back of your pitcher who just
Right.
gave up a save. Like,
Right, yeah.
there's always someone paying attention, and it is so incredible that if you want to be a good person and you want to chase your dreams, you can't take a day off.
No.
It doesn't mean you don't have a rough moment. It doesn't mean you don't have a hard time. It doesn't mean you don't fight.
Right.
It means that who you are at your core must precede you. And whatever precedes you, that's what people are. It's like walking through film or walking through clean air. If your reputation precedes you with negativity, it's like people walking through film. They can just, it's like on their body.
Yeah.
They can feel it. But if you have a good reputation, then people walk through that breeze that smells like lavender. It smells sweet.
Right.
It smells, there's something to be said about how you treat people, how you respond to what happens to you. And anybody can have a great day when great things happen, but it's when adversity happens that, in a marriage, in any type of relationship, in a friendship, when working, playing a sport, when adversity happens, do you hold a hand? Do you pat on the back? Do you give good advice? Are you good in the times where it's almost impossible to be good?
Right.
Those are the moments that decide who you are, and those are the moments that people see, and the people that are important see those moments because they will see you're ugly.
Right.
I get asked that question when people say, like, if you see my work side, what does that mean? It means that you're seeing all of somebody to really judge who that is.
Right.
When I have an intern, I see what they're good at and I see what they need to work on. I see what I'm good at and what
Right.
I need to work on.
Right.
My dad said, he goes, you can never be blatantly honest with yourself. And I said, I disagree. I'm blatantly honest with myself every day.
Yeah.
I don't wait for you to say, hey, you know what, you said that yesterday that, that offended me. I look in the mirror in the morning and I go, what did I do yesterday that I could have, like, if something's on my mind that I got to get better at, I don't wait.
Right.
I don't wait.
Yeah.
It's that phone call or you run down the line or whatever it may be. I did something yesterday where it was like I wanted to tell somebody something really positive, so I just ran to the person, said, hey, I just want to tell you this,
Yeah.
and then I went back to my seat. But it's like you don't waste a moment because you never know what that moment, that hit, that time on the microphone,
Right.
who's listening, who's around it, and who sees it, because life could be drastically different if you did something else in that moment.
And we're all human beings, and the people making these decisions, coaches, any leader that has people underneath them, in business and sport, if you're a good leader, you know that people are going to make mistakes.
Yeah.
It's like you just said, it's how you overcome them. I didn't necessarily believe this until I was on the other side. Again, I've been fortunate in my career to be in a position where I have all angles. I was a player, coach, worked in the front office, all the possible things you could do. I had a little bit of a taste in, and they want, when you go to a something like that, whether it's college recruiting, whether it's a pro workout, coaches, and I mean this 100% because, like I said, I was one of them, and I had very, very good mentors teach me this. You want to see the big guy that you want to see him punch out. You know he could hit the ball 400 feet. You know that already. You wouldn't be there if he couldn't. You don't go to a game where you're getting recruited. I'm going to go to a random game, and I want to see who the best players are. You're showing up for players X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Now, might be 50 players on the field. You're going there to see one or two guys. But guess what? You don't close your eyes when all the other guys are up at bat or whatever.
Yeah.
So when Joe Smith is up at he's taking his at bat or he's on the bump, whatever he's doing, and they're there to see him. They already know he could be successful or they wouldn't be there. I'm not saying they're rooting for him to go for 3, but what they do, they're not saying, oh, he struck out, all right, I'll close my eyes until he hits a homer, and then I'll write down all the good, I'll give him his scouting report then. It's part of your scouting report as a person, whether it's in business or whatever, to when you punch out with the runner on third, tie game in the 7th inning and your team needs a hit, how do you react? The people, they see that, and that will define you. When fortunately I've hit a bunch of home runs in my life. Who doesn't have a smile on their face? And it's easy, and this is a life cliche, but it's so true, and it's extra true in baseball and in sports. It's really easy to be happy and in a good mood and be a great teammate when you're doing well. I'll be the best teammate in the world when I just hit a 3-run homer. Yeah. That's super easy. Will I be the best teammate in the world when I'm really struggling? I'm 0 for 12. Yeah. And now my buddy needs me. He needs my support, and I have to be the leader that I was deemed to be. That's tough. But can you do it? That will open more eyes in a big moment when you fail. How do you respond, as opposed to a big moment when you succeed? Anyone could be happy. Anyone could be the best person or best, most encouraging teammate, whatever, when you succeed. It's the failure in sports and in life are so similar, and it really defines your character. It defines your career in a way, and people notice that. And the best coaches in sports don't get to where they are if they don't realize that. And really being a coach at the higher levels, and certainly even from really youth and high school all the way up, is you're basically managing egos and personalities. And what you're doing is you're making, you have to almost be like an individual coach, or a different coach for each individual. Yeah. And everyone has a different clock. Everyone ticks. Everyone's, motor's a little different. Everyone gets, has a spike on different, everyone in different ways. Something that I might tell you to do, like, let's say we're both taking a hitting lesson from the same guy. What he tells me is not going to be the same to what he tells you. So I think in coaching and in really any aspect of leadership, you have to be able to identify what makes this person tick. Yeah. We have different interests. Okay, so when I tell you to do something or ask you to do something as a coach, I might want the same result, but I'm going to go about it a different way. And it's a skill to be able to be a leader and be someone that leads people, whether it, like I said, business, life, sports, anything. And it's difficult, but I think when you take a step back, if you think about that kid, your coach isn't criticizing you because he doesn't believe in you. He does believe in you. One of the best coaches I ever played for, always, and this was at Stony Brook, when he used to stop talking to you is when that was it. Yeah. You did something, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that was right or wrong. That was his coaching style, but if he was really hard on me because he believed in me. He knew what I could do. I wasn't there yet, so he brought me up to that level. Whereas a guy that doesn't have a good attitude or whatever, if coaches stop talking to you and stop giving you positive or negative criticism, that's not a good thing. So
no, and I find that in relationships in life, professionally and personally, when somebody stops talking things through with you, they think that you've tapped out. Like that's as far as you can go.
Right.
Like you're supposed to. You're a husband.
Right.
Your wife pushes you.
Right.
She has to. She has to command the best out of you.
If she's not talking to me, I did something wrong. And I got to do a little investigative work. Like, hey, why is the communication gone down? Usually we're talking all the time and everything's great. Yeah. If that goes away, it's like, wait, maybe I messed up. I got to make this right. But it's so true how communication, I think, is they say in a marriage, communication's number one. In sports, pop up to the infield. If no one says anything, someone's gonna get hurt. You're gonna smash into three different guys trying to catch the ball, and that's so basic. Catching a pop up and marriage are so different. But in the end of the day, the key is communication and trust. There's so many words we could float out that are just life words that hold true for any kind of aspect of life that you're dealing with. Whether, like I said, whether it's in sports or school or coaching or marriage or whatever, business. But probably one of the coolest things reflecting back on my baseball career is that at the time of a big strikeout, at the time where a coach brings me in and has this heart-to-heart because I really have to pick up my game or be a better leader or whatever, I thought that was preparing me for like the next day. What I didn't realize is now sitting here, 31 years old, married with 2 children and in a completely different career, what it was preparing me for is the rest of my life. And that's an opportunity that it really makes me sad to see that kids at 7, when they go to their dad in the bathroom and their dad says, okay, son, quit. Who knows what that does to them down the road? And I know we're kind of turning back where we were a half hour ago, but if that opportunity goes away and a parent or somebody, a father or mother figure in their life, lets somebody quit time after time again, what are they going to do in their job? Are they going to be a person that bounces around? And I hate to see that at older ages, and it's tough. So it's a pretty cool thing. And everyone, like I said, everyone has different. I'm just speaking specifically on my experiences, but it's really cool to look back and say, wow, I thought I was learning lessons in how to be a better baseball player, but it was really how to be a better husband, better father, better man in general. Yeah. That it's the same lesson. So the person telling me, hey, if you don't pick it up, we're going to release you. Because I've had that conversation. Like, hey, like, we signed you, what's going on? You're having a terrible year, blah, blah, blah. To be able to deal with that, I thought, hey, at the time, I just wanted to play baseball. So I only thought of that conversation, or only thought of those criticisms as, okay, I got to pick it up, or I got to do this or that, different good and bad conversations. And I thought it was only affecting that game, that week, or that season. Yeah. Meanwhile, I think back on them now, I'm like, wow, I use that still today, because it's those are life lessons that last forever. If you allow them to, you have to have an open mind to do that. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff coming up, a lot of things already said. We're here on Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT. And of course, we're here on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT and on Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT. We're going to take a fast break. You'll hear from our great partners in the community, and we'll be back here with a very special moment in Wake Up Call history when Dan meets Marino, Volume 1.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Street and 401 South Salina Street in Syracuse, as well as inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and their newest location, which is their first ever
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop CafeCabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs.
your
Cafe
backyard,
Cubal.
Central New York.
Coffee
right
for the
here,
soul.
as we're in this backyard, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it's the exclusive home of my Sunday creation, the Orange Dream, which obviously orange in our city is a big color and it means a lot. A play on what
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315
And a big shout out and a big thanks here as we have an extended fast break here, and we thank you all for tuning in to Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, the home of our Liverpool Athletics show, the Wake Up Call exclusive Liverpool Athletics show every single month, focusing on all of the sports programs at Liverpool. And of course, Avicoli's open Tuesday through Sunday for you to go out and see them. Over 2 decades of serving our community, and open on their pizza side as well as their fine dining, their outdoor dining, and their bar. 4 restaurants in one at Avicoli's. And the margarita pizza, the veal parmesan, those are my favorites. Canine Campground Dog Boarding and Canine Camp Dog Daycare, the place to trust with taking care of your dog when you're out of town. We all need somebody that we can trust, and sometimes you have a friend that you can, and sometimes you don't know what the friend's doing, and you have to make sure that someone is taking care of your dog that truly cares about it. I've been on the side where I've been able to trust people, and I've been on the side where I can't. Well, Canine Campground Dog Boarding and Canine Camp Dog Daycare, they've never let me down. Led by Lorraine, Chad, Heather, and the entire team, they take care of your animal as if it is their own, and there is a peace of mind to that that money just can't put a price on. PB&J's Lunchbox with the award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich, as well as so much more, the Philly cheesesteak and the pita, the corn chowder, the constant weekly changes on their menu. This is a place that I feel one day will be featured on one of Food Network's main shows because of how they do it, and the personality of Pat Orr is just second to none. PB&J's Lunchbox, you've seen them all over with their food truck that stops in your community. Now you can go stop and see them at their Streetside Cafe at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. And of course for Victory Orthopedics, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, a place that I've trusted for almost a decade with my injury, getting back healthy and getting right. And not only that, but being with a team of doctors and physicians that listen to you, care about you. And I'm sure that going through injuries playing sports or just going through injuries in general, when a doctor listens to you, tells you why they're doing what they're doing, gives you options, and tries to help you and leads you through the process, there is no substitute to somebody who will care that much and have that much attention to detail and remember their patients and understand what you need, how you need it, and know your history without having to simply look at a chart. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, call for your appointment today at 315-685-7544. With that being stated, back here inside of the, what I love about this is the backdrop of our conversation today is where you played catch with your dad.
That's right.
Like, we are in Steve Marino's backyard to do this, in the backyards of America, that's where baseball begins. In the backyards of America, that's where relationships with our parents begin. It's where we build this beautiful where sports meets life. There's nothing like going out and tossing the ball back and forth and having that. My dad used to let me hit in the backyard, used to, toss the ball back and forth with me in the backyard for an hour, half an hour, whatever it may be. That time and being able to have this as the backdrop and almost see a little Steve, 3 years old, 4 years old, out here with your dad, Tony, and playing this, to bring it all full circle, what's it like to do a show in your backyard when you were a little kid and never once did you think, hey, I'm going to get interviewed in my backyard after I play the game?
And you can't see it, but right over here, there's been plenty of broken windows on the house. But It really is pretty special, and like I said, all these things we're talking about, and we got deep with recruiting and all this stuff.
Yeah.
There is none of that without this backyard and without that first game of catch and the wiffle ball, and I can't speak to the listeners enough about how valuable that is. If like I said, if you're in a position where you have children and you want them to pursue their dreams, however realistic it is or not, the chase and having that dream is really more important.
Yeah.
Now it's easy for me to say because I could never play in the big leagues.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't trade where I'm at in my life for anything. So I never thought I'd say that, and there were definitely some dark times, and I've had some rough weeks or seasons where I was like, okay, I identified as a baseball player my whole life. Now all of a sudden I'm not. I finished college, I'm undrafted. I listened to every single pick of the 2011 draft, every one, thinking that maybe my name was going to get called. I didn't care if it was, obviously it wasn't going to be first, but pick 1 through 2000, whatever it was. And when it didn't happen, it's like, wait a second, I don't have a team anymore. I'm not a baseball player anymore. It's the weirdest feeling ever. But again, being an adult, being more mature now, being a little bit more introspective about looking back, it wasn't about the dream itself. It was about chasing it, the relationship you make, the catch, the relationship now I have with my dad. That means way more to me than one single swing that I would take in the big leagues at Yankee Stadium. It doesn't even come close to that. And I think sometimes, and I certainly did it, and maybe my parents did, and I certainly know a ton of families that are currently in a tough place where you kind of get wrapped up in that. It's not about those moments anymore. It becomes about the money. It becomes about the school and the sweatshirt I'm going to wear to high school because I'm going to North Carolina or something like that. And it takes away from. And again, I think a lot of people, and again, speaking honestly, looking myself in the mirror, there's a lot of times that I did not do that, and I think it made me a better person now. But it is tough to think big picture. It's tough to think 5-10 years down the road what's going to happen, and you just don't know. No one has a crystal ball. But again, reflecting back, I think that those moments of this doesn't happen too much anymore, but stickball or wiffle ball in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's so travel ball, daddy ball oriented now, where if you're not playing organized sports like 24/7, it's no good. I'm not saying it was like instrumental to like my swing or my arm strength or my baseball IQ, but I think a valuable part of my baseball career is going over to my buddy's house across the street and knocking on the door and talking to his mom, hey, is Michael home? And going to play wiffle ball with them for 3 hours till the sun came down. My mom's yelling across, hey, dinner's ready, let's go. That doesn't happen as much anymore. The sense of neighborhood and community, and times change, and there's nothing wrong with that. But those, for me personally, and I know going back in history, there's videos of the barnstorming days, and Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth are out there, and a couple kids are throwing them balls, or seeing how far they can hit it, make a couple bucks. Obviously, times have changed. It's different now, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it was this backyard to wrap up that point. I mean, it was. I don't know if there was a more instrumental piece of grass, if you will, than what's right behind us as far as my career goes. Because without it, there's no possible way that would be able to accomplish the things I've done, on paper, statistically, or just in life. Having so many cool moments as a baseball player.
When Dan Meets Marino here, Volume 1, Steve Marino sitting in with me in the backyard where it all started in his baseball career just a couple weeks after officially retiring from baseball as a player. And you got to coach, you got to do a lot of different things. Of course, myself, Dan Tortora, here with you in the Travel Cafe Kubal studios. We look out here, we see 4-year-old Steve Marino. You're 31 now?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What would you say to him today, if you could go back in time?
I would say keep playing catch with Dad. Don't get too hung up on statistics or a game. I'm a huge stat guy. I just love it. It's something that drives me. Like it's a number. A lot of, I don't mean to get off topic, but this is just what it is. Oh. It's hard to think when you can't see something. I mean, people have faith, whether it's religiously, whatever. You have faith, or you're driving down the road and, there's a million cars going by you. You just drive and you hope no one hits you. Whatever the faith or the regular life is. But it's nice to put a number to it. So people get very stat-oriented in sports, your free throw percentage and your quarterback rating and all this stuff that in real life doesn't really mean anything. It's labeling you and it's categorizing you as an athlete. What I would say to my 4-year-old self would be, just keep doing what you're doing and enjoy the little moments. Really enjoy them and be present. I think something that I've struggled with later in life that I probably didn't as a kid is being present in the moment. There was absolutely no reason after a game in 2018 that I coached third base and I did all my stuff as a hitting coach. There's no reason why I would go home to my wife and newborn baby and think about baseball. I was just at the field for 7-8 hours. Why do I have to go home? But I did. It's practice. It takes practice, and it really takes a level of maturity to say, I'm at the field. I'm going to give 100% to what I'm doing right now. This radio show, I'm opening up. I'm giving you everything I have right now.
Yeah.
But when it's done, if I got to go in and be a dad, I got to be a dad. I can't think about the radio show. Again, that's a very, raw sense or a raw analogy there. But I really struggle, and I think it's a struggle. I think it's going to be a struggle daily and probably for the rest of my life. But that's something that I would definitely tell a younger person or my younger self is don't think too far in the future. Have a plan. Don't, chase your dream, but also, hey, another quick story, and it all ties in. So I remember that I don't know if it was both of my parents, but I got there because I couldn't drive. So it was at St. Joseph's College here on Long Island, and they have a nice, little field there, and we're parked, and it was just like it was a showcase thing. I was trying out for a team or whatever, and again, I don't know the specifics, but I'll never forget this comment. I won't say the person's name, but he ran the workout, and he said something that I really, really made me mad. He had all the players go to their cars. He said, I want to talk to the parents. And I don't know if it was like he was recruiting guys to play in a different spot. Long story short, I was in my dad's car or my family car, and the windows were down, so I heard what was being said, but he didn't mean it for the players to hear. And basically, his message was, your son's not going to make it to the major leagues. Statistically, there's 100 kids at the tryout.
Yeah.
Maybe one, but probably 0 of these kids. So he was basically educating the parents on don't get hung up on making it to the big leagues and all the money. At the time, it infuriated me. Like, who do you think you are to tell me that I'm not going to fulfill my dream, what I want to do? And it fueled me. So that was a good thing that it fueled me. I'm assuming I trained more and I went out in the backyard even more and did stuff. But now looking back on it, was he right? 100% he was right. But little things like that, a conversation or a comment or criticism, they go so far to a young, immature mind that all you want to do as a kid is play in the major leagues. And you're watching the Yankee game at 7 o'clock at night, and before that you play in the backyard. Continue to do that. Don't. If someone tells you or knocks you down and says, listen, there's the absolute minuscule percentage of people that play in the major leagues.
Yeah.
Okay, but why can't it be me?
Right.
Mike Trout grew up in New Jersey. He played Little League Baseball with thousands of kids that are all accountants, business owners, working at a bar.
Yeah.
And he's in the major leagues. He just signed a $426.5 million contract. Why was it Mike Trout? He was the same. 5-year-old Mike Trout, I'm sure he was good.
Yeah.
But 5-year-old Mike Trout was just the same as 5-year-old Billy, Johnny, and Joey. He was.
And 5-year-old Mike Trout could have had a dad that said, all right, you can quit.
Exactly. And now he's got a beautiful family. He's got more money than he could ever spend in his whole life, which, again, it's not about money, but he's got that stability, and he's got people look at, like, your Mike Trouts and Derek Jeter and all the, you name the David Wright was an idol of mine, and you go down the list of Hall of Famers and stuff. It's like, how'd they get there? I think the key is that they were all the 4-year-olds in their backyard. And everyone kind of has that. If you play baseball as a kid, whether it's playing catch, wiffle ball, or you have to play organized baseball to eventually jumpstart and leapfrog your career to eventually a major league career.
Yeah.
Everyone, my dad always said this, and it's so true. It's a pyramid. T-ball. There's, let's just, 1 million people. And then it goes down and down and down. And now you get up to, like I said, there's 25-man rosters, 30 teams. There's 750 big leaguers right now. That pyramid is so tiny at the top. But to relate back to a younger kid, whether you're going to make it to the big leagues or not, having that dream, loving sports. I remember trading baseball cards with my buddies. Who knows where they are now? They're probably up in a closet somewhere. And it didn't matter. Like those were staples in my life.
Yeah.
and in my career that were so valuable and so important that you really can't put a price tag on it. And it's just to think about going back to 4 years old, my mental capacity for anything other than just, oh, I'm having fun, that was it. I didn't think about anything else. But now looking back, and all the nights I wanted to quit, and all the nights that I wasn't making any money in the Frontier League, and going to McDonald's dollar menu, and like, what the heck am I doing with my life? To think about going back and saying, let's just have fun again. Maybe I should have done more of that. Of course, I'm very happy with where I'm at now, and I'm fortunate.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of times where I didn't have that long-term plan of whether I make it to the big leagues or not is not the real mission here.
Yeah.
But how do you tell a really talented 16-year-old that? And I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about in general right now. 2021, there's a kid that's committed to play at, you name the top school, and he thinks he's going to the big leagues. Chances are he's not. That make or break moment when he realizes I'm not, do you have a backup plan? Are you educated? Do you have a good family structure? Do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? Like, all those questions that are really deep for a teenager to think about. It is good advice to at least think about that and have that in the back of your mind, because the chances are it's not going to happen. So I've learned to kind of play everything down the middle. If I'm talking to 15-year-old Steve Marino, what I would say now is continue to do everything you're doing and chase playing in the big leagues, but chances are you're not going to get there. So make sure you have a plan B, because I had no plan B. Now, plan B ended up being my life now, but I would say it's plan A plus now that I'm living it. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? Plan B could very quickly, with the relationships, meeting my wife. I didn't know. You just don't know. I never planned to meet her because I never should have been playing for the Southern Illinois Miners, getting my number retired. I was planning on playing for the New York Yankees. You know what I'm saying? So my life structure is completely different. But now looking back, it all worked out the way it was meant to be. And like I said, I'm blessed and fortunate to be doing it. But you know, it just takes a little bit of. You just can't be too high or too low. You can't think so much. Oh my gosh, I'm in the present moment. But you have to have some of that, but you also can't think too far down the road. You might miss an opportunity right in front of you that's super valuable and it could mean something for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting thought to think back and like, you know, you always, that's a great question, having conversation with yourself, but it's just it's fun to think about what I would have done differently. But I mean, the truthful answer is I wouldn't have really done anything differently. My buddies in high school and the relationships I made and how close I am with my family and my siblings and my parents, I like I said, I was very fortunate to be in the position I was in. I think I took advantage of it. We'll never know, but I'm happy with where I'm at, and it was a really, really fun ride to give baseball a chance. And like I said, the relationships I've meant way more than the home runs and the RBIs. It's not even close.
That coming from Steve Marino here in the beautiful setting of the backyard where it all began, When Dan Meets Marino. We'll take a step aside for Volume 1 here, and we'll be back right after this where sports meets life. You're watching us on youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on Instagram Live at WakeUpCall_DT. Cafe Kubal providing for you the experience.
Cafe Kubal Mobile Cafe brings the cafe experience to you. We'll roll out to your neighborhood or office, ready to serve our locally crafted espresso bar to our loyal patrons. Inquire at cafekubal.com. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
Drive-through, and having that drive-through makes it so much easier now for us to be able to celebrate what Cafe Kubal truly is, which is consistently innovative and doing everything they can to be a game changer in our
Ma and Pa's
community.
Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, located on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, is home to over 40 flavors with more than 200 flavors in their total wheelhouse. Sky's the limit for this sweet and savory Central New York company. Keep it local at your parties, fundraisers, wedding showers, baby showers, and more by calling 315-450-MA-PA.
Of those 200
That's
flavors in the wheelhouse, at any given time, 50 different flavors coming to you
for popcorn bars with custom flavors and colors
Road
at your upcoming event. Make sure to visit them on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And for more information, go to maandpazsnacks.com.
By going
Ma
to
and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory.
That's
How corny are you?
Popcorn. popcorn.com. And when you go to maandpazpopcorn.com and if you use my promo code in any one of the 50 states, you will get 20% off by using DT20 at checkout. That's DT20 at checkout. So make sure that you do that by going to maandpazpopcorn.com. Use the promo code DT20. The Milk House Market, located on 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York, is worth the drive every time. Make sure you download their app by searching Mill House Market on the Google Play or Apple App Store. Once you have that, you'll have everything at your fingertips. From the map directions from wherever you are to get there, you can literally plug and play where you're at. You go to the Mill House Market app on the Apple app or Google Play Store and click on that app. And once you click on it, you can click on the menu. It'll show you how to get from where you are to the Mill House Market. It'll give you the entire menu. It'll break down everything. And once you order, it'll give you an approximate time to the minute of when your order should be ready to pick up at the drive-thru window. Open for you with their drive-thru window as well as their general store and their indoor dining. The Mill House Market is a truly unique and amazing thing that's been ingrained in our taste buds and ingrained in our community for years. The Mill House Market constantly being innovative, challenging themselves, and every time they challenge themselves, they end up bringing the community something even more amazing. So thank you to the Mill House Market, 3790 New York 13 in Pulaski, New York. And a big thanks to Pizza Man Pub that you'll find on 50
In
Oswego
these
Street
unique
in
times,
Baldwinsville, New York.
there are those
Pizza
in our
Man
community
coming to
that
you
give us
and
a
having
sense
our
of
exclusive
normalcy
Baldwinsville
and
Bee
positivity.
Show every single
Pizza
month
Man on
at
50
Pizza Man.
Oswego Street
We have
in
shows
Baldwinsville
with
has been
people in
here
the
for you
community
for
as well
over
as the Baldwinsville
35
Bees.
years.
We love the
and is here
opportunity to
now.
go out to Pizza
Call
Man and do something
315
truly unique and fun.
638
And are very thankful for the
1234
opportunity
or order
that Pizza
online
Man
at
offers us
pizzamanbeeville.com
to give you something that you've never
to
had
bring
in
those
a selection
familiar
show
tastes
that we
into
did
your
for the
home.
NCAA
And remember to
tournament
come
with
see our
Demetrius
monthly
Nichols, who played for
on-site
Syracuse,
broadcast
as well as
centered around the
what we're able
community
to do with the
and our
Baldwinsville
Baldwinsville
Bees and
Bees.
Al Romano,
Pizza
and
Man
having
in Baldwinsville.
an
Any way you
amazing
slice
person
it,
like Tony
they are
Dorsett
always
be able
here
to
for you.
jump onto the show in the middle of all of that. So a lot of amazing opportunities, a lot of amazing work that has come to us.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others.
I know I say incredible and
I put
unique with all
Chick-fil-A
these,
in my
but
life,
that's why we work with
and
them.
I
Because they
realized
have
as I was going through
incredible
the franchise
people, and because of how
selection
unique
process
they are. So thank you to
that
Chick-fil-A,
positively
Cicero, and
impacted the lives of others was really
for all
core
that
to
you
what we do here at
in our community to
Chick-fil-A.
go
First of all,
one
it
step
starts with the
further
food.
and to truly
The
be a
food
pleasure
is
to work
brought in fresh
So,
daily.
many thanks
We bring
to
in
all of our
local
great
produce.
partners.
72222 for the Wildcat, family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
24/7 by going to any one of our opportunities in our podcasting world: Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, YouTube, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, as well as iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and Podbean. Any one of these locations will get you Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So we ask you to go there and enjoy the opportunity with that. And so make sure that you do that here today. And of course, you're watching and listening to Wake Up Call every Monday through Friday in our normal hours from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, and also on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. And for those of you, once again, with our Central and Upstate New York partners, Carvel DeWitt, Cafe Cubal, the Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Honda City of Liverpool. I'm supposed to have this job. I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. And so I remember going through saying, God, why didn't I date this girl in high school? God, why didn't I work at ESPN at this time?
Right.
Why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do that? And whenever somebody would say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, it would make me so unbelievably angry. And at 35 years old, I tell people now, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Right. You can do your best. And I had this conversation with someone near and dear to you last night. We're driving, and I said, we can make the best plans in the world, and a monkey wrench comes through. Sure. And how do you adjust to that?
Right.
And I'm a planner as much as I'm a fly by the seat of my pants. I can do both.
Right.
I like to plan things out, but I also like to ad lib. Like when I'm at Disney, I know what rides I want to ride,
right.
But I'm not like, I have to do this at 10:15. I have to do that, because then I don't have fun.
Right.
So what would be your advice, as we're both in our 30s, about if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans? You and I have planned out things before in our lives, and it worked. But we've also planned out things in our lives before which didn't work, and you got to be surrounded by the right people and have the right attitude to understand that when whatever hits the fan, right. You got to be able to respond. And I wanted to go off of what you said, because we talk about trying to plan, but you can't plan for everything.
I think the best response and the best advice I could give is, earlier in the show I talked about a plan A, B, C. Don't label it as plan A, B, and C. A comes before B and B comes before C. Have different plans that might, in your mind, make it all equal.
Yeah.
So thinking back, plan A, or my only plan really, was to play in the major leagues, have all the fame and the money, and be on TV, and I would have tried to use that as a platform for good. And I wouldn't have taken advantage of it. It was just always something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I would think about something else, like a regular job, like 99% of people have, go to work at 9 o'clock, whatever. That would be a plan B. But in reality, there are wonderful, good people in the world that touch tons of people's lives that aren't Major League Baseball players. And I sometimes you might be too blind for that or whatever. Again, just because the chances of something happening might be small, don't give up on it, because you might be that guy that's in the right place at the right time. But I think the ultimate advice, and this takes faith, you're only in control of so much.
Yeah.
I could go to the ballpark every day. I go in my backyard. I could call up a buddy and, hey, throw me BP. I could control how much I train. I could control my attitude. I could control how much time I spend in the weight room to get my body. I always think I'm pretty big, and I focus on my health and my fitness as much as I can. If you had to say what's my number one hobby, I would definitely say going to the gym. I love writing my workout plan for the day, getting in there. It's great to get a sweat and feel a little tight and sore. Being in sports and being fit was important to me, so now I'm taking it into my next life just as a regular citizen.
Yeah.
But your brain and your in life is not like your body. If I want to build my chest, I bench press. I do pec flies. I do whatever I need to do. Your muscle doesn't have a brain. It's going to grow.
Yeah.
In life and in sports, someone else on earth or in that sport, whatever, is making a decision on you. You could be the best player on the field, but if someone does it, so that might alter your plans. It doesn't mean that your plan was bad. It doesn't mean that your plan didn't work. It's just you're not in control. God's in control of it. And if you trust that, you won't label it plan A, B, and C. You'll say, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm putting my best foot forward, and all my effort's going to go into being a Major League Baseball player or an Olympic athlete or a Fortune 500 company. Whatever your dream is, go after it. But then say, I don't think it's bad. So a lot of people, if you got to put all your eggs in one basket. And I would challenge that now that I ended up somewhere else and I'm just as happy.
Yeah.
But again, I don't want to play this too down the middle, but don't spread yourself so thin where, like you said, all the eggs in one basket, because that you might be putting your eggs in the wrong basket. You don't know, because again, we don't have a crystal ball and it's not up to us. So as long as you're doing something that makes you happy, you surround yourself with people that are making you a better person. And as long as, and like for me, I found almost just as much value in coaching as I was playing. I never thought I wanted to coach, but I absolutely love going to the ballpark every day, knowing that my job was to help someone else fulfill their dreams. and it kind of, again, put a nice cap on my baseball career. And I never would have thought that was going to happen in my life. But at the end of the day, I really do cherish the moments as a coach just as much as a player. Would I rather hit a home run or tell someone to hit a home run? Sure, I'd rather be the one swinging the bat. There's no question.
Yeah.
But I really did enjoy that. So I just, looking back and being more mature now, I really do think that it is not a bad thing to say, I'm 15 years old, I'm having fun in school, I got some really close buddies, I play on a travel baseball team, and I'm pretty good. I think I could take this career to the next level. Do that. Never stop doing it. Never stop dreaming. If you want to play sports till they literally rip the jersey off your back. That's my advice. But be smart, be mature about it, and have an alternate plan. Again, using the words fallback plan. Falling back is not a good thing. You fall on your body, you get hurt. So I think a lot of like the English language and the way we go about it, sometimes in your head, you don't hear a big thing in coaching. You don't tell a kid not to strike out. Come on, Johnny, don't strike out. You can't strike out here. Your brain doesn't hear don't. Your brain doesn't hear no. You're constantly flooding your mind, strike out, strike out, strike out. So what do you think's going to happen? There's positive reinforcement. Hey, come on, have a good at-bat here. Hey, need a big hit. You're the right guy for the job. You're telling yourself the same thing, but you're tricking your brain, which is just an organ in your body. And you see, so if you think deeper like that, when you talk about plans in life, if you don't label it plan A, B, or C, or okay, this is my main plan, I'm gonna have a fallback plan. Say, hey, I'm pretty good at all these things. Whatever road He leads me down, or whatever cookies and the crumbs may crumble in one way or the other, I'm okay with all of it.
Yeah.
And if you could do that, I think it actually will release and free up your thing that you want to chase the most. And again, is that hard to do as a teenager? You better believe it is. Is it hard to do as a parent that might be struggling financially and your kid's really good at lacrosse or baseball or swimming or tennis, and you really do need that full scholarship? You better believe that you want, hey, I'm going to put my kid in lessons for this or that, because I don't want to pay $45,000 a year. I totally get it all, but it's super valuable now to look back and try to help people and say, this is what I did. You could take it or leave it, but these are the lessons I learned.
Yeah.
So maybe cut it off at the pass. I just spoke with the Southern Illinois Miners, a team that retired my number, and I coached for, played for. I have awesome relationships. And I talked to the team in spring training and just sat down with the guys, and I said, look, I'm going to tell you my story. Take from it what you want. But I gave them suggestions, Spend less time on your phone, more time with people. You're going to get 1,000 phones, social media, whatever. The relationships you make, it's little stories like that I think go longer than the little things that happen in that moment that seem like such a big deal, and in reality it's not. There's a bigger picture that we don't know about, but if you trust that everything's going to work out, and if you just put yourself in the right situations, surrounded by the right people, plan A, B, and C goes out the window. There's only one plan, and you just got to trust that it's going to be the right path for you.
God's plan.
That's it.
Not a dad yet, not a husband yet.
Mm-hmm.
You are.
Yeah.
Best advice.
Ooh, best advice. Never stop communicating. You're going to be a good dad and a good husband, and it's what I learned is I always thought, again, this all ties into the plans. You think, okay, you have a picture of what your wife is going to be or what you want her to be, or for women he will be as a husband.
Yeah.
You think about, I thought I was going to have a boy. I'm going to have a little junior. I'm going to put a bat in his hands at 1, and he's going to be the next stud, whatever.
Yeah.
2 girls. So, not that they can't be athletes or whatever and all that stuff, but again, God laughed and said, oh, you think you're having a boy? Here's a little sweet baby girl, and she's going to have you wrapped around her finger, and you better believe she is. And I think the best advice, and again, we touched on it earlier, be present in the moment. The times, the most strenuous times, and every marriage has them, but the most strenuous times for me, I'll be married almost, I'm 3.5, almost 4 years now, is when I didn't give my family the time that they deserve when they needed it the most, meaning being present. Like I said, I don't need to think about baseball 24/7, or for people that aren't in baseball or whatever, your job. Go to work. Your time with your family is your time with your family. If you could really commit to that, I think it's so valuable. You're at a family barbecue. Be at the family barbecue. be present. Your mind is there. Engage in conversations with, Grandpa Sal, even, whatever, because that's gonna make work better.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? So communication is key, and just listening, and just, again, putting yourself second. Your whole life, when you got to make your grades, you have to hit 300 to keep a job. You have to do this. You have to make so much money. You have to get this promotion. Blah blah blah. It is such a freeing and it's unbelievable feeling to step back and say, I'm going to serve others, and you're really serving your spouse. Hey, what do you need from me, or whatever? It makes you feel better. It's kind of like, on Christmas or whatever holiday. At some point, you want to get the gifts and the video games and the toys, and at some point it switches and you find more joy in giving. And seeing that look on my daughter's face on Christmas morning when she goes down and Santa came, but meanwhile, we were up till 3 a.m. putting stuff under the tree. That is the best feeling in the world. Enjoy that. Don't be the guy on Christmas morning thinking, tomorrow I gotta do this or that. It's tough. It takes a lot of mental discipline and stuff, and I certainly have not mastered it. But the moments where I put my phone down and I engage in that moment, whether it's as simple as a family barbecue or 5 minutes on Christmas morning to take the video camera out and enjoy it, it frees up, and just it makes the rest of your life so much better. And you're a better husband, you're a better dad for it. And again, it's difficult, but I think communication and being present are the two things that could, I don't want to say make or break in that way, that's a little too harsh, but it will, your life and your marriage and your parenthood will certainly become easier, not easier to get out of doing work, but more enjoyable is really what it comes down to. So I hope that answers your question a little bit.
It does. When Dan Meets Marino, Volume 1, here with us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 208 North Townsend Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, as well as inside of Golisano's Children's Hospital, 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, and now their new location, which has a drive-through indoor and outdoor seating at the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road on Sweetheart Corners, which is nostalgic to Syracuse, New York, one of the greatest corners in the history of Syracuse, New York. So, and North Syracuse technically is where it is, but everybody says Syracuse. But it's the reality of it. So thank you to Cafe Kubal for all that you do. I hope you've been able to travel with us here and enjoy this on Long Island, as we are here with Steve Marino and myself, Dan Tortora, as we've makeshifted this to have it outside. It's not as always easy to put something outside, but it's exactly what we're doing. You talked about a family barbecue, and I got to witness one last night with your dad's side of the family. I had never met anybody on your dad's side. I met Grandpa Sal and Grandma Joyce. By the way, Grandma Joyce, with the DH conversation, all the stuff I had to talk with her about, at the end of the night, she gave me a thumbs up. And I think if I get a thumbs up from Grandma Joyce, like that's
doing something right.
And Grandpa Sal, and I remember a couple steps away in the house, we took a picture, and I think I told you this. He smiled in the picture, and they're like, "Grandpa, you never smile." And he goes, "He makes me happy." So I've had some good moments with Mom's side, and then Dad's side last night. I found out first and foremost, your dad is very talented in a lot of things.
Oh yeah,
and him and I have had from day one these fireside chats that like really I value. Makes me feel very special. And last night I found out he could sing.
Oh yeah.
So
hidden talent.
Yeah. So he's singing, and then he goes up with Teresa and they sing.
Okay.
And then we got Dom playing on the drums.
Yeah.
Veron gets up there, she starts singing and having some fun. But and then your brother Greg's playing his trombone.
Oh man.
So it was an interesting night, especially after you left and whatnot. But you talked about putting the phone down for the family barbecues. What can you say when I say family means blank? Because teams say we're a family, and families, listen. There's, as I've said before, and I've said this numerous times, there's always going to be arguments. There's always going to be ups and downs.
Right.
There's always going to be ins and outs and around the corners. Family means blank.
Everything. It's everything. Because at the end of the day, put it this way, When I've had the worst days on a baseball field or in life,
Yeah.
who's there? Mom, dad, siblings. When I've had my best days, just got my number retired, who's there? They're there. They're always there. They're your support system. They mean everything. They're the key to stability. How nice is it knowing, hey, I could dip my toe into a completely new adventure in life because I know that I have a support system at home.
Yeah.
For me now, with parents, siblings, aunts and uncles, wife. One day my kids will be old enough, you lean on them. You know, at some point, like, you know, with grandmas and grandpas, you get to the point where now your kids are taking it's a beautiful tree of just people that support each other. So without the family, without that structure, and again, for anyone listening that is in a different spot that doesn't have a 50-person family barbecue on Father's Day, family can mean anybody that is your support system, is a shoulder to lean on.
Yeah.
That's family. You have a lot of people that maybe don't, like, you don't have any siblings,
right?
But I'm sure there's people in your life that you consider just.
I have 13 nieces and nephews because my friends have made me Uncle Dad.
Exactly.
So
they're family to you.
Yeah.
There's
so
no
to
other
me,
way
I got
around
like
it.
7 brothers. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I'm sure there's people in the same boat you are there. And then another beautiful thing that I got to experience is when you do get married, you unlock a whole new family that you marry into, and they become family. And I have a great set of in-laws, brother and sister-in-law, and I never was an uncle, and I married into being Uncle Steve to a beautiful niece and nephew, and that really helped me become a better father, watching another family member raise children. So family is just, there's so many different ways you could describe it, but to wrap it up in a nutshell, for me, it means your family is involved in every aspect of your life. That's why my first answer was everything, because they're your coach. There's so many different. They're your teachers. They represent so much, and everywhere you go, whether you're apart, together, and now with technology, you know, a FaceTime, it's so quick. So you want to, in my opinion, you want to use them, and I would hope, as a brother, a husband, a father, a son, all the labels that I have now, I would hope that I'm a phone call away, whatever, if anyone needs anything. And it doesn't always have to be bad. Like I said, they were there for the best moments of my life and the worst. So the family setting and the people you surround yourself with is, I think, the most valuable part of your life, because when you live a full life, they're there from every part of it, from when you were born all the way through. It's beautiful, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. You know, and it's awesome to be able to talk about this in the setting that we have right behind us, where everything began for Steve Marino. Final piece for today. Mm-hmm. We'll have a second part tomorrow when Dan meets Marino. Dan Tortora and Steve Marino, Volume 2 will be tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/live or Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, shared on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, on Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. So we thank you for being here inside of the Travel Cafe Kubal Studios. Tomorrow we'll go into the DH conversation. Mm-hmm. We'll go into the Yankees love. We'll go into a family that is split in the Subway Series between Yankees and Mets. We will dive into a lot of things. But I want to play Rapid Fire.
Okay.
And Rapid Fire on my show allows the opportunity for me to ask you anything I want. But the caveat is you can also ask me anything that you want. So I'm on the hot seat as much as you are.
I like that.
So
very fair man.
Yeah,
go back and forth.
And I don't know any broadcaster or anybody in the media that allows the mic to be turned the other way.
Okay.
So it's important to me to do that and create something that you don't typically see, because I think everybody deserves a fair shot. So you're used to, as a player and a coach, answering questions.
Correct.
Now you get to ask them.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth 1-to-1.
Okay. And it could be different?
It could be literally anything.
You could ask
me
me
the same.
Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So whatever's on your mind, whatever's on my mind.
Gotcha.
But we have to answer it, and it is live.
Okay.
Steve Marino, Dan Tortora, when Dan meets Marino, in the backyard of where it all started in his baseball career, and he's been an amazing guest today, and I thank him so much, and his beautiful baby girls, and, you know, your wife and your baby girls, you know, that isn't a plan B, brother. That is that's a plan, whatever's before that.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You have a family that loves you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen that around you And then you see those little girls, and there's something to be said. I mean, it does something to my heart when your daughter comes in and goes, "Hi, Dan." Yeah. So, like, for you as a dad, I get a "Hi, Dan." I get one. I'm like, so great. You know what I mean? So for that to be your everyday has got to be special.
It is. I'm like I said a million times already today. I'm blessed and lucky, and again, all these little things that happened led me to this, and I wouldn't trade my situation for the world. So, like I said, I have 2 titles that are fairly new, and it's husband and dad, and I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble, but that being a dad it just completely unlocked a whole new level of happiness in my head, my heart that you don't know exists until you become one. So it's hard to give advice, but it's a special blessing that it's almost undescribable. But like you said, coming home from wherever I'm at, work, whatever, and you hearing those little footsteps and Daddy run. There's no better feeling in the world than that. So. Yeah, I'm a lucky guy. There's no question.
Steve Marino, you get to start. Rapid fire.
Okay. All right. Italian family. Mm-hmm. Electric chair. Did something really bad. You get 1 meal. What is your last meal on Earth?
My last meal on Earth. Well, first and foremost, if I got a kiss on both cheeks and they ask me how my family's doing, I'm not leaving the building by myself. Yeah. But I will tell you that my last meal would probably... Last night was really good. Yeah. So, food last night was very good. Yeah. The pork fried rice and the lasagna and the steak. But I would say my last meal would probably have to be a multi-course Italian meal. It would have to be lasagna, stuffed shells, chicken riggies from up north, Utica greens, Italian wedding soup, cannolis, pasta chops.
So you're going out with a feast.
I'm gonna make them wait 3.5 hours to put me on the chair.
I like it.
So good. Yeah, I'm gonna put like as much as I can in the pot if that's my last meal.
But that's allowed. Yeah.
Tell me something about your sister Teresa that I might not know.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I'm trying to think of something you don't know, because I bet you know quite a bit about her talents and all the things that she can do.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that as much as she is artistically and music driven, and that's clearly the path that she was meant for, that she played basketball in school? She played school basketball, tried out and made the team.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about going forward from that. I don't want to get too deep into it, but let's just say that she made the right choice in not being an athlete too much further. Not that she doesn't have athletic qualities, but she's in the right line of work. Yeah. I remember going and watching her play, and we would have some pretty funny nights, and now we could talk about it and laugh.
Yeah.
But we're a very athletic family. From me all the way down to my brother, we all played school sports and different things. But if you just meet Teresa now, you would say, oh, she's music, everything. What she does, she's extremely talented and is passionate about. Yeah. But there was a time where she did try the athletic route. So that'll be my quick fire. It wasn't a very quick answer, but she was an athlete.
Yeah.
At one point.
When I met your family, I played her in basketball right here on these grounds. Okay. And it was her and Greg versus Veronica and I.
Okay.
And your sister's words to your mom were, when your mom was like, "How'd the game go?" And she goes, "Oh, it's fine. Once we got over the fact that, Dan and Veronica apparently like played high school ball together and they know each other. So we won."
Oh, nice.
But Teresa's first catch of the ball, and Greg passed her the ball. She caught it right over here.
Okay.
And when she caught the ball, I was playing defense on her, and her exact words were, "What do I do? What do I do?" And she passed it to Veronica. So that sums up her basketball career. So fair enough.
Yeah.
But see, her and I both played basketball. So
okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. What's your one?
All right. Here you go. A little more sports driven.
Yeah.
If you could be a professional athlete.
Yeah.
In any one of the 4 major sports: baseball, hockey, basketball, football. Mm-hmm. Take out you're an athlete. You're making good money.
Okay.
What position and what sport would you play?
Okay.
Now, I know your background, so my guess would be something in the basketball world. But you could be the starting quarterback for New York Giants. You could be... So, for your... So, really the question is, like I said, take out money, I would do this because it's the highest paid. No.
Right.
What would bring you the most enjoyment? Would you want to be on TV every Sunday and you're the quarterback for your favorite team? Yeah. Are you the starting point guard? Or I could say college.
Yeah.
So what position would you play and in what sport on a national level?
I'm going to give you all. So okay. I'm going to give you all. So NHL, I'd play for the Anaheim Ducks.
Okay.
That's my team. And I would be the goalie.
Wow, okay.
If is my man Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks movies. And then if it was football, I'd be the starting quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
If it was baseball, I'd be the starting pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Pitcher, okay.
Yeah.
So you stumped me on two, I wouldn't have guessed. I knew the Jacksonville quarterback is a given.
So I love the Diamondbacks.
All right.
But I would also, at some point in my career, want to play for the Pinstripes. I want to play for the Yankees.
Speaking of the Diamondbacks, not to sidetrack you too much, do you see what's going on with them? I'm not trying to poke fun, but I looked at the standings, and it says streak.
Yeah.
And I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah,
I just thought I'd throw it out there.
It's awful. Your mom.
Yeah.
Your mom.
I'm sure she reminds you. I'm just strictly saying it as a baseball fan, not a.
Every moment of this conversation I've loved, except for what you just
said. Okay. It's a good thing we're ending the show soon.
And then my last one, which would be my number one pick, is I would be a point guard for the Toronto Raptors.
Awesome.
I wanted to wear 21, and Stoudemire wore 20, and I wanted to play with him. So.
I'm glad you answered it that way.
Yeah, that's how I would have done it.
Good. Now, to extend that, out of those four you just picked, would being a point guard, if you had to pick one, would it be that? Okay.
Yeah, I'd probably be a point guard for the Raptors.
Okay.
But there's something about, there's something about striking somebody out that I would love.
And hearing 30,000, 40,000 people go nuts.
Yeah. And having it be, I know you're a Yankee fan, but if it was bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, and Alex Rodriguez was up, it was an automatic out.
Punch out. Yeah.
I remember getting up going, I don't even have to watch it. I was like, why are we all sitting around the couch and watching this? I know it's going to happen.
That's it. Yeah.
So, not Jeter, though.
No.
Okay, so sports related for you. The Yankees trade you in the majors. What team would you be willing to play for if you had a no trade clause and you got to pick the team that the Yankees traded you to?
Okay.
So you could waive the no trade clause for who?
This is a more recent conversation since I've been relocated to Southern Illinois. For me, it'd be the St. Louis Cardinals, and I have a couple reasons.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not going to bore everyone. Oh, Yankees won this many championships. Everyone knows,
27.
and that's the thing, 27.
Yeah, I saw your picture, and there's a massive 27 in the Hall of Fame.
The Cardinals, I have 12, I believe, which is the second most. Their fan base, I've been to Busch, I've been to Ballpark Village. Yeah. Anyone listening that can get out to St. Louis, please do. It is an unbelievable baseball experience.
It's like sidewalk, and it's set down.
Yes.
And it's right in the city. It's very cool.
It's unbelievable. And their fan base, now that I'm around them, I'll never not be a Yankee fan, I'll die a Yankee fan. But being now living outside of New York and experiencing a different culture of baseball, their fans are, you hear good fans or whatever. It's not the rowdy Philly and New York and Boston. They love their team. They're very smart.
Yeah.
And I've learned that it's baseball at a very pure level, and it's beautiful. So I would love to play if I got traded from the Yankees. I love like you said, the Bronx is number one. There's no question.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting question. Today I would say the Cardinals. To add to that, who wouldn't want to play for the Dodgers? Any of the high teams. I'll tell you what, too. A big thing for me in my career, I only got to be a free agent, if you could call it that, once, and I got to kind of play the market and see where I wanted to go. But whether being a Northeast guy, playing in the snow is no fun, so I'd have to consider San Diego a nice trade spot as well, for weather and quality of life.
Yeah, they were always saying that they didn't have the money to pay for anybody, and obviously that's not true.
Not anymore. Yeah. No. So.
All right, we'll do two more apiece.
Okay. If you didn't have your own sports broadcasting business and you weren't doing this today, what would be, again, not a plan B, but what would be something else, anything, doesn't have to be sports related, that would spark your interest and you could say, you know what, I could go to work every day and do this job.
There's
or
three
is
of
there?
them.
Okay, go ahead.
There's 3 of them that all have the same letter S,
Okay.
and I don't know why it's all S.
Okay.
But stand-up comedy,
Okay.
songwriting and singing,
Okay.
which is something
Which
that,
is songwriting singing is 1?
yeah.
Okay.
And because I've written at this point like 40 songs,
Oh, wow.
but I sang since I was 3.
Okay.
And there's a lot of different things.
So
that
you went to the right family barbecue yesterday with the karaoke out there.
Yeah. So singing, songwriting, stand-up comedy, and screenwriting, which I've also done.
So you got the artistic side as well.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you could do any of those and enjoy that
love
just
it.
as much as microphone. Okay.
I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
So you tell stories through broadcasts, you tell stories through movies, TV shows, music, stand-up.
Right. That's awesome.
It's all storytelling.
Yeah.
It's just how well can you tell a story.
That's all. It's great.
My question for you, Mr. Marino, is you have... Okay, so you're back here on Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
You got one place you can go to for breakfast, one place for lunch, and one place for dinner. You can only pick one, and you're only on Long Island for a day. You're
Okay.
here for 24
And
hours.
I get 3 meals.
You get 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Okay. Okay, there's no question. And this is the roots now. So I'm going with the old faithfuls. I could get creative, but I'm going to give you this is the truth.
Okay.
For breakfast, I'm waking up and I'm going right down the street to the Lake Grove Deli and I'm getting a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Okay. Lake
Maybe
Grove.
some potato. Lake Grove Deli right here. There's a million awesome delis, but I'm sticking with the roots. I'm sticking at home. If I had one meal for one day, I'm going to get a sausage, egg, and cheese on a roll.
Okay.
A little hot sauce, salt, pepper.
You
A
got
little side, a little side of whatever little dish potatoes and a coffee. That's my breakfast. For lunch, I'm going to Uncle Joe's Pizzeria up the street. I'm getting at least 2 buffalo chicken slices. I am a huge wing guy.
Okay.
Love it. I love Buffalo Wild Wings. I'll order wings any place just to say that I tried the wings there. I love the different sauces and the different textures of the chicken. So I'm a huge wing guy. I have not had a better buffalo. I've had a lot of good buffalo chicken slices. But my favorite of all time is Uncle Joe's right here. So the 2 places I gave you, you could walk to from this house. So that gives you a little bit of sense of like home.
Yeah. I've made peanut butter and jelly wings before.
Peanut butter and jelly, is that good?
They're very good.
Okay. I wouldn't think of those as being a good. Are they hot?
I take Jif reduced fat peanut butter.
Okay.
I take strawberry jelly and I take pepper and a little bit of Parmesan and I just mix it all together and then I roll the wing in it, boneless wing.
We got to do that. I got to try it because I've tried different. I stay with but that's good.
Yeah.
I like my traditional sauces, but that sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, I make a lot of interesting sauce.
Well, okay,
Different stuff.
and I'll say this. I would have to say if I had one dinner. Now, can my mom cook the meal? No.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
of
mom's
course.
cooking. My mom's cooking dinner
Okay.
tonight. I got one, so I went out breakfast, lunch, dinner is my mom's chicken cutlets. There's
Which
no
I've
question.
already had.
There's no question. So
What is it about Long Island that
I don't-
like Italian families on Long Island have to make
it's the chicken cutlets. It's
it's like the first meal you have when you go in the house.
And
is
since
chicken
I've
cutlets.
moved outside, you go outside of like the tri-state area. No one, what's a chicken cutlet?
Nobody knows.
No one knows what a chicken cutlet is. You
No.
know, it's after
salt
Italian.
potatoes, chicken cutlets.
That's it.
All the stuff between upstate New York and Long Island.
Right.
There's things that are within this state that nobody knows anywhere
Right,
else.
okay.
There's like chicken cutlets, and then up with us, it's chicken riggies, Utica greens,
Yeah.
Kigley donuts,
Okay.
salt potatoes.
Right.
You go down to Florida, it's
It's
talking
unheard of.
Mandarin
Yeah, right.
to these people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So mom's making chicken cutlets.
and to kind of wrap up my dinner, as kids growing up, on our birthday, we got to pick any meal. My mom would make it, or we go out to eat. Sometimes my mom would know. It has to be. I'm 31. Since
Yeah.
I started eating actual food, it has to be 20 plus years that was been my birthday dinner.
Chicken cutlets.
Chicken cutlets,
Okay.
mashed potatoes, and a veggie.
Okay.
That would be my 3 meals here.
Okay. I like it. I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Last
Actually, I got another one for you.
Yeah, you got
Last one. Okay. I had one, and then you got me fired up with the food.
Your mom's chicken cutlets are insane. She makes me chicken cutlet sandwiches to take on the plane with me.
Oh, that's great.
She packs me like a lunch and a breakfast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. This is a good one. So Syracuse, New York guy, whatever. Love it. If you could have, let's say this.
Okay.
You're a New Yorker. I'm a New Yorker. Whatever. If you had the money and the resources to own a house that you frequent for vacations or a getaway spot, where in the country, we'll just keep it in America, where would you build a house or buy a house as a vacation spot or a summer home or something like that?
Colorado, North Carolina, or Hawaii, or Alaska.
Okay.
I want something that's totally different. And I know Alaska gets cold, but like Hawaii, I lived in Florida, and I don't say Florida because of hurricane season, but North Carolina, it's like warm enough, it's peaceful. There's beaches, there's mountains, there's flatlands, there's like literally everything. Yeah. And I've been to Pinehurst, Raleigh, Princeton, Charlotte. Where else have I been?
I played baseball for one summer in Morehead City.
Okay.
Are you familiar with it or no?
In North Carolina. I've driven through Morehead. But yeah, like Greensboro, Charlotte.
Yeah,
like I
beautiful.
I love North Carolina. So probably somewhere there. But I'm not opposed to Florida. It's just it gets so hot. So I need to get it. I need it to like not Virginia, not Florida, but like the Carolinas is okay
middle.
with me.
The
like
sweet
somewhere
spot.
in the middle.
Yeah.
Or Hawaii.
Okay.
Why not?
Great.
My last one for you.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one.
Okay.
So you and I met over FaceTime.
Right.
We talked 3 times over FaceTime. Then we talked on the phone for an hour.
Okay.
We finally met this week. What 3 words would you use to describe me?
Okay. So a quick question before my answer.
Yeah.
Are we taking out the fact that I already had an idea of like who you were and like the
No.
3 words to describe,
3 words to describe me
after meeting you in person?
Yeah. From everything that you know.
Okay. No, I'm not thinking because I can't think of it. I'm trying to think of the best 3.
That's fine. I like putting myself on the hot seat.
Yeah, right.
It's like I enjoy the hot seat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I do.
All right, so 1 would be friendly.
Okay. I
watched you interact with a bunch of very loud, enthusiastic family members you never met, including we met for the first time. Took it in stride, no problem. Some people can't do that, You bring someone into the home or whatever, it spooks them to be in a backyard full of strangers, and now they become family in a way. Now you break bread. It's kind of the old Italian thing,
Yeah.
You're with us now.
I like that everybody shakes, when people shake your hand and give you a hug.
Yeah.
Like that's my family. That's how I act.
Right.
So when everybody was like hugging me and shaking my hand a bunch of times and like treating me like I'd been there forever, I embrace that.
Right. So
it weirds me out that people get scared of that.
Yeah, right. So friendly could be a bunch of different terms in the same, but definitely friendly.
Yeah.
Personable is the same one.
Okay.
Number 2, I don't know if this is sound weird, but educated. And the reason I say that, not that anyone would be uneducated, but seriously, being able to hold conversations with people, being able to interact, listen as well as speak, just put together, able to collect your thoughts and say what you need to, if that makes sense.
It does. For someone who speaks for a living, I appreciate that.
But you could tell you as your normal self is the same. You're the same.
Same on and off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And some people are not like that. I've done a ton of interviews through sports and stuff, and you get the radio guy that is unbelievable behind the microphone, and it's the most awkward human being you ever meet in your life. You go out to dinner. So
or the people that change their voice for the radio, which is really weird.
And I guess the 3rd one, respectful.
Okay.
Respectful.
All right.
Treat people with respect, specifically Teresa, sister. Care. So to put them all in a bow, the ability to come into a family, treat them like your own, and vice versa. And I know I'm confident that my family would do that. La Familia, the whole thing. My door's always open type thing.
Yeah.
I think that you're cut from the same cloth, and you could tell that. You could see that on someone's face. You could see that how they shake a hand or how they interact with people. So yeah, friendly, educated. Now that I'm saying these back, and respectful.
Respectful. Yeah.
Those are 3 qualities.
They're some of the nicest things that anybody's ever said about me.
Well, you've met my dad, so everyone says me and my dad are very, very alike. So
yeah, no, some of the nicest things that have ever been said. With that being said, When Dan Meets Marino, Volume 1 has come to a close. Volume 2 will take place in this backyard tomorrow. Plenty of stuff coming up. Grandma Joyce, we're talking about the DH.
That's right.
So a lot of stuff coming up. And I wore this for a reason. I'm fresh off of my trip taking my dad for Father's Day for the weekend to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. We're going to talk about a lot of different things, including why are people so hung up on Mariano Rivera being the only person voted in unanimously?
Save it for tomorrow. There's a lot to be said, though.
A lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of things going on, as well as the Yankee-Met household. And who is better right now between you and Greg? A lot of stuff to get into. Third baseman versus pitcher.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
We'll talk about a lot of things here, but in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook as well as on YouTube and, of course, on Instagram. We will be back. Facebook at WakeUpCallDT, Twitter at CallDT, Instagram at WakeUpCall_DT, 24/7 on WakeUpCallDT.com and on YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT. I want to give a special thanks to every single one of our partners here. Cafe Kubal, Carvel DeWitt, Wildcat Sports Pub, Avicoli's, Chick-fil-A, Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, PB&J's Lunchbox, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Honda City of Liverpool, the Millhouse Market, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, and Mon Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, which came all the way down here to Long Island for Mother's Day for caramel corn for your mom. Go to maandpazpopcorn.com. Anywhere in the United States, use my promo code DT20 and you'll get 20% off. And of course, you can watch and listen to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Facebook.com/LiveNowDT, Facebook.com/WakeUpCallDT, YouTube.com/WakeUpCallDT, and on MixLR.com/WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com. And you can search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on Stitcher, Spotify, MixLR, TuneIn, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, YouTube, iHeartRadio, Podbean, and more. So make sure you check us out there. It's all free to check it out. And, of course, support the local businesses that support you. For now, from the backyard of where it all began, Steve Marino, Dan Tortora, When Dan Meets Marino. I never thought I'd be able to do that show. But, again, if you want to tell God, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And I get to have a Dan Marino moment in my life, which is awesome. So thank you. Volume 1 is in the books.
Thank you.
Steve will be up next. We'll talk to you soon.